We're almost halfway through the year, and a lot of people are running on empty without fully realizing it. Grow Therapy helps you find care that's covered by insurance before burnout becomes the baseline. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome to the Black Tats. There's an African proverb that says, best friends will prevent you from having good friends. When I started making the transition from being a lawyer, agent, suit, to being a creative, I had a really, really dear friend who had always been a creative. And the balance between what we were doing was perfect. He was fully creative, I was fully business. The merging of the two concepts were perfect. He wrote a book and I put together the entire business plan, the marketing strategy, suggested different art covers, what was going to garner book sales and what he needed to do and how he needed to do it. And the more we talked, the more we wanted to take the book and turn it into a one-man show. So he set a course to write the one-man show. Once the one-man show was written, it came to me. I made all my notes. We went back and forth till we had a final script. My job was to deal with the production of it. So there was a bunch of videos that needed to be created and sound effects and movement. And so I took on the task of doing it. Now, mind you, I've never done this before. I've directed commercials, I've created commercial opportunities, I produced jingles, but I've never had to do a play. I've never had to do a one-man show in a festival that was going to be broadcast and other things. And though I wasn't intimidated by it, I was cautious because it was a new role that I was taking, but I also knew it was something I could do, and he knew I could do it. And sometimes all you need is somebody to believe that you can get it done. So through the process of getting this one-man show together, our relationship grew tighter and we started living together as roommates, and one thing led to another, and we were now building this kind of hybrid production company. And it was moving great. It was moving forward. Now, though there were people who were whispering in his ear, he never let those things being said interfere with what he saw in me. Because what you get from me and what people don't understand is that if I wrap my arms around you in friendship, you're going to see me. If I shake your hand in friendship, you're not going to see all of me because you're not entitled to the benefit of what I am and who I am. So I am working on the show. We're going through rehearsals. We're making changes here and there. I'm giving him insight about how he should stand, the way the light's going to hit, what he should do, where the pauses need to be, and getting him to a point to tell the story as if you're just talking to me. And I think having that as the foundation made this show so great when it happened. Now, the crowd was sold out. People loved the show. There was comments, there was this, there was that. And I'm not a guy who likes accolades. Never have been. I think accolades give people a false sense of who they are. They are things you have. They are not who you are. They are a small component of who you are, but they're not everything of who you are. And so at the end of the show, he pulled me out and he was like, none of this would have been possible had it not been for Malik Shakur, who directed, produced, designed the set, designed the lighting, and designed the sound and the video. There was a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, the show was amazing. The show was great. The show was this, one thing after another. But all of my haters was like, well, but he's a first-time director, so there are a lot of things he don't know. There's a lot of things he didn't see. There's a lot of things he just doesn't understand about live performance. But every show that I've ever gone to that they've done, it's never been sold out. This was sold out. Not one night, not 2 nights, but 3 nights. Now, we're moving on. Life is going on. We're doing this show in different variations. We are fortunate enough to be accepted into the Broadway Theater Festival. And we did the show in New York. That cost me a pretty penny, but it was all for improving my skill sets, learning things that I didn't know. It was all for my skill set, but it was good that I was able to learn these things because now they're a part of my toolbox. As time moves on and things are changing and things are moving, my mom is dying, so I'm dealing with that. It's time for me to start thinking about not living in Los Angeles anymore. I need to be recentered. And so when I come back from New York to LA, I noticed a shift in our relationship. And I didn't think anything of it, but I had already made the plans that I was going to move out and I was going to move back to New York and I was going to figure out what I wanted to do. I'm still reeling from the financial crisis and trying to put my career back on track, but I'm hopeful that I can make it all work and turn it around and it'll be great. Time moves on and we're back and forth and we're still doing the show here and there and different festivals and making changes, improving it. I'm shooting the artwork for the flyers. I'm acting as the art director for all the photo shoots. So again, all my skill sets are improving because I'm doing all these things. I'm on a trip to LA and this individual who I thought was my ace boom coon, like brothers, met someone. And at first, the individual was enthralled with me. The individual was like, oh my God, you're amazing. I love Malik. But that turned into, he thought, the boyfriend, that I and my friend had a relationship or had sex. And I was very clear, no, we have never done that. We're just really good friends. I'm more of, though there is a 9-year age difference, at times I'm his big brother and at times he's my big brother. And so it was something that I thought was solid. Well, apparently, when the dick is good, the dick is good. So this individual decided he wanted to push me out of the relationship. So one day we were heading someplace, or I was taking him to work, and the boyfriend had spent the night, and I was in the guest room, and we were talking about the neighbor who doesn't like black people. And I made a comment in the car when the boyfriend says, well, I don't understand, why does he not like black people? I said, well, most Hispanics tend to have colonizing behaviors when it comes to black people. And he was like, what are you saying? I was saying most people, especially Dominicans, have this thing about color. They could be darker than I and they will not acknowledge the fact that they are black. And that's colonization at its best. He exploded. It was this big argument and he's yelling at me and threatening me, and I'm driving and I'm trying to maintain my temper at this point. Cool, no problem, I got you. And as I am about to light into him, I noticed my friend is having a panic attack. So I take a step back and I allow this individual to yell at me in a manner that I would let nobody yell at me because I'm being considerate of what's happening with my friend. He gets out the car, he slams the door, and he goes on his way. I then take my friend to work. And on the drive, there's a little quiet. And I say to him, you know that was not my intention. I was expressing what was happening. And he's like, I know that wasn't your intention. But he's super sensitive about his weight and his color. How was I supposed to know that? That's a personal issue. That has nothing to do with me. He was like, Malik, just let it go. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. I go on, life goes on. I'm in LA. I have to stay an extra day for health reasons. I had an asthma attack and I didn't want to get on a plane. Come to find out that was problematic. Okay, cool, no problem. The relationship that I then had with him shifted from, I don't like your friend, I don't want him around, and if you want me, he gotta go. And with that, I was pushed out the door. Now, my friend says to me, you have to understand, he's young, and when you were his age, 27, you didn't have life figured out either. And I looked at my friend and I said, I want you to rethink that thought. He's like, what is it to rethink? Because when I was 27, I was married. I had bought my first home with my ex-wife. I was already in my career as a business and legal affairs person at an entertainment company. I was already doing things at 27. So you can't compare him being 27, immature and an asshole, to me being 27, mature and kind of an asshole. So it was very clear that sides had been drawn, which was fine because I was living in New York 6 months out of the year, and I didn't really need to be in LA that often. And as time moved on, the relationship got worse and worse. Now, there was an opportunity to do the show again, and he wanted me to come in and direct the show. And I was like, sure, no problem. He asked, hey, do you still have your gym membership? And I was like, yeah, I do. Why? He says, well, I'm thinking you could stay in the bonus room that the condo building has, and you could take your showers at the gym. And I was like, excuse me? Are you saying that I am not welcomed in the home I helped you find and helped you get your mortgage on because your insecure, overweight boyfriend doesn't want me in your home? He's like, I know, but when you put it that way, it sounds really bad. It is bad. So if you think that I'm going to sleep in a bonus room and take showers at the gym so you could appease your immature, overweight, fat boyfriend, find somebody else to do it because I'm not doing it. He then says, sometimes you take stands and you don't know how to compromise. And then I responded, sometimes you do whatever you need to do to be liked. And that's not a good place to live in because everyone else around you will control you and no one can control me. So there we are. Friendships are meant to make you happy. Friendships are meant to be supportive in the darkest of your days and amazing in the light of the sun. Friendships are not meant to be built around insecurities. Friendships are not meant to be placeholders. When you call somebody a friend, that means you have genuine connection and respect for each other. If someone is willing to toss you to a side for someone else because that someone else is insecure about your relationship, it says more about who they are than it is about who you are, and it tells you what your relationship is really about. And when you let go, you should know sometimes it's not about you letting go. It's about the universe, God, whatever your religious affiliation is, moving someone out of your life that could cause you more harm than good. And oftentimes we fight it because it's comfortable. But I'm here to tell you, when it's time to let it go, let it go. Sometimes relationships are just seasonal. Sometimes relationships are deep-rooted. My dad always told me, you're only going to have 5 friends in your life. And when he said it, I was a teenager and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But as I became an adult, it made full sense. There are people you're always going to be able to rely on, no matter what. Somebody you can call in the middle of the night with the most outlandish, crazy shit that has happened to you, and they're going to put their clothes on, get up. They're going to talk bad about you in your face, but they're going to come to make sure you good. Those are the friendships you want. Those are roots. There are those who are roots of a tree that are great friends. There are those who are the branches, and they'll go out on a limb, but if they go out too far, that branch is going to break. But the majority of the people we know are the leaves. So as leaves grow in the spring, they also fall off in the fall. Stay woke. We out.